No one expects a Spanish Inquisition. Fuck. My pumpkin fell down.
You're listening to Late Night Radio on the SHR Media Network. Caution, there will be mature themes explored and potentially adult language used. If conservatarian words, phrases, certain concepts, or rhetoric offends you, tune out now.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it on to our children in the bloodstream. The only way they can inherit the freedom we have known is if we fight for it, protect it, defend it, and then hand it to them with the well-taught lessons of how they in their lifetime must do the same. And if you and I don't do this, then you and I may well spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it once was like in America when men were free.
Sharp arising.
I'm climbing through the chaos, got the truth in my pack. Leftist lies and globalists, I'm pushing them back. From the saloon to the airwaves, I'm spitting it raw. Constitution's my compass, liberty's law. Big gods creeping, shadows on the land. Feds with the schemes trying to bind up my hands. But I'm the Sherpa, guiding through the storm. Red, white, and blue, yeah, freedom's reborn. They spin their tails, but I see through the haze. Media maggots, lost in the maze. I'm calling it out, no fear in my soul. This patriot's fire ain't losing control. Conservative Sherpa leading the fight. Torch in the dark, burning bright in the night. Stand for the truth, won't bow to the game. Sherpas, come and remember my name. Sherpas rising. Leftist judges twisting, trying to steal our rights, but I'm locked and loaded, got them in my sights. From J6 to the border, they're selling us out. I'm screaming from the mountain, hear my rebel shout. They mock the flag, but I'm holding it high. Stars and stripes forever under God's open sky. No globalist chains gonna cage this land. I'm the Sherpa with the truth in my hand. They push their agenda, but I'm breaking the mold. Their promises empty, their hearts ice cold. Chicago's bleeding, borders torn apart. I'm fighting for the people with the warrior's heart. Conservative Sherpa leading the fight. Torch in the dark, burning bright in the night. Stand for the truth, won't bow to the game. Sherpas, come and remember my name. Sherpas rising. The storms, I've walked the line. 41 years, badge on the grind. Now I'm on the air, my voice like a blade, cutting through the lies that the traitors made. Hurricanes rage, but we're standing tall. Sheriffs of the Constitution, answering the call. From the saloon to the heart of the fray, we're taking back America, no more delay. Conservative Sherpa leading the fight. Torch in the dark, burning bright in the night. Stand for the truth, won't bow to the game. Sherpas, come and remember my name. Sherpas the static, hear my voice resound. Conservative Sherpa, freedom's battleground. Berserk, Bobcat, rules will never kneel. For God and country, this fight is real.
Oh, Sherpa's rising. Sherpa's rising. Hi, kids. Hi, kids. Good to see you. What is today? Well, today is October the 3rd. I had to look over here to see what day it was. You know what that means? Do you? Do you? Do you know? It means the pumpkin is out. And it means every time I turn around to try to hit my mic over here or turn it off, I'm probably going to hit the damn pumpkin. And the pumpkin isn't even looking Wrong way. Look that way into the camera. Okay, now the pumpkin is pointed in the right direction. So thanks, kids, for being here. 38 people watching live. Thank you kindly. I stirred up a hornet's nest today, so it's going to be interesting to see who comes in here to chat. Maybe nobody. I'm overthinking it, is what I said. I'm overthinking it myself. Let's look at the comments. Then let's look at something very, very important right after the comments. Sehr wichtig. Sehr wichtig. You don't know what's coming next, do you? Do you? Comments. Okay. Hi, Phantom. Hey, James Harbin is here in chat. Wasabi. Rick Robinson. The Phantom is in chat. Mission Ready is in chat. Jersey Joe is in chat. Have I missed anybody? SHR Media is in chat. Sean Lewis is in chat. He'll be back right after a brief sponsor of his I have to eat dinner kind of thing. Anyway, I guess I could go over the ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and all that kind of stuff. But it's a Friday Schadenfreude show. Now, shh, don't say anything. Be very, very quiet. Very quiet. There's someone in the room. So very, very quiet. Don't say that you notice anything at all. Hey, Phantom had fish and chips. Right.
Nice.
Right.
So I only have one complaint. Why were you complaining about the pumpkin's vision being askew? Some of us can't help it, sir.
Oh, okay. Well, first, before the show, I had the mic open, okay? So the dealio is, what you can't see, is the mixing board right over there. When I turn on the mic right here, I have to reach way over here. I hadn't even put myself on the screen yet. So I reach over here, conk. I conked the pumpkin fell down. So I had to try to rearrange the pumpkin. Damn it, pumpkin. Anyway, I'm here. He's here. You're here. We're all here. Some of us are full of beer, and let us have no fear and soldier right on if we could, because I didn't do a show last night. And the reason I didn't do a show last night is because heavy sigh. Well, we knew this was going to happen. And I told you that we've got our little dude here who usually sleeps under this desk. Well, the bed is there. He's been a great dog for 11 years now. Someday I'll tell his story. His story is nothing but grief and woe and surgeries and blindness and seizures. Did I mention seizures and surgeries? I mean, the guy came to us in 2020 with an open wound that he was recovering from. So we fostered him. So he's gone away. We've got him in the vet. Took him there, left him there last night. And he's home presently. But he's got to go back. So we're just going to hope for good things for the dude. Anyway, that's why I wasn't on. But you know what I need right now? I need some happy stuff. So let's start here with some. Well, first, Rick, thank you for being here tonight.
You're welcome.
I wasn't on Thursday, so I asked kindly if he could find some space. And not only did Rick Robinson find some space, but he's also throwing me up in the ozone live right now, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Let's go over to comments here before we go. By the way, oh yes, 633 subscriptions. Let me stop this. Hide the 3, subtract the 4. So subscribe to the SHR Media YouTube channel, if you would, please. We have 633 subscriptions, which is a wondrous thing. A lot of people were wishing me that the best for Jake, and I thank you for that. And also, if you happen to be listening right now or watching, I have 136. I've gone up 5 subscribers recently on Rumble. And also, if you're watching right now, if you would, share the show from the SHR Media YouTube channel and share the show from the SHR Media Rumble channel and from whatever you happen to be watching right now from the SHR Media X channel or the KLRN X channel, or let's see, Shathead Sean.
I mean, if you're going to go there.
Okay. Perhaps I should explain, Lucy. When Sean could no longer be on Sackheads, myself and Clint, Sackhead Clint, started a new show called The Shat Show. And The Shat Show was the Sackheads Against Tyranny. And we really reached and stretched for an acronym to equal Shat. But we found it. We found it, and we continued with that. And then Shat is in the back of my head. Anyway, thanks. You guys could be like balancing your checkbooks, cleaning your fish tanks, peeing in the meat department. You could be doing all sorts of things, but instead you are choosing to spend the night with me and Rick Robinson, and I thank you very much. Now, I happen to have acquired. Oh, wait. Damn it, Jim, go back up here. I don't have a cool intro for the Carousel of Amusing Gerp, because now we're going to be witness to the Carousel of Amusing Gerp. I guess I could sing it myself, but you don't want to hear me do that. But this is exclusive video of Antifa learning how to fight against MAGA. And then after that, I have a very, very exclusive video of Portland PD and Seattle PD learning to train to combat Antifa. So go.
I bet you didn't know that we have a queer fight club right here in Oklahoma City.
Yep. Oh.
I bet you also didn't know that we're about to celebrate.
Wait. I knew that. I knew when I put that up, all of a sudden Rick would go, what? What?
I mean, I'm not surprised. We have a very large gay district in Oklahoma City, but just really?
Oh,
really?
Wait, it's not finished yet.
Celebrate 1 full year of this very successful community self-defense program. Now, some members thought we should do a Jean-Claude Van Damme Kumite style type of event, but that didn't quite make it out of plan.
That is extremely elitist, wouldn't you? I mean, listen, who could possibly learn to fight like that? Oh, wait, I have an idea. There are certain people who could learn how to fight like that, and it would be, let's see, Portland PD and Seattle PD.
NCPD to keep the community safe. Our test is comparable to the Navy SEALs. The test is a half-mile walk in under 30 minutes. Clearing a 2-foot wall and doing 1/2 of a push-up. So if you think you had what it takes to pass the test, come join our team. We have the strictest
Portland PD, folks, and also Seattle PD. You can be one of them if you only apply. But if you don't apply, you're never going to get in, because that, as you can see, they are the elite of the elite. So if the underlying subtext was something similar to fuck Portland PD or fuck Seattle PD because they're nothing but leftists, you might have grokked my concept, to which I say, if you're in a leftist urban rat cage and you're thinking of taking your bullshit leftist crap to some other PD in a red state or a red city or a red county, keep your leftist bullshit where you are. We don't want your infiltration. We don't want your vaccination, and we don't want your infection. Stay the hell where you are. After that having been said, I found more things to laugh at. Let's continue.
I'm not even Mexican. I don't know why President Trump keeps saying that shit. He needs to say it to my face, Holmes. And while we're at it, I'm getting really tired of all that dollar store Obama shit. It's getting old, homie. My name is not dollar store Obama.
Jeez.
Okay, pendejo? Órale! Arriba! Arriba!
Okay, so if
I am not even
possibly
Mexican.
you
I
thought
don't know why President Trump.
that I was going to stop at 1, oh no, you would be sorely mistaken. Here we go. Macarena, baby. Oh.
Campbell is never gonna beat me in November. Donna's gonna make the country better than you can remember. Campbell is never gonna beat me in November. Hey, Macarena. Campbell is never gonna beat me in November. Donna's gonna make the country better than you can remember. Campbell is never gonna beat me in November. Hey, Macarena. When I dance, I do the Macarena. Shake it on my trail, I can't pay now. They all love me, cause I'm Dante, and every good American wants me.
I need
Votes
this.
from me, Joe just beat on himself the third time this week. Votes from me, Joe just beat on himself the third time this week. Campbell is never gonna beat me in November. Donna's gonna make the country better than you can remember. Campbell is never gonna beat me in November. Hey, Macarena. Campbell is never gonna beat me in
Real
November.
for me,
Donna's gonna
Chucky.
make the country better than you can remember. Campbell is never gonna beat me in November. Hey, Macarena. Macarena, 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 hey. Macarena, 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 hey.
Okay, I think you got the gist of that one because I only have 2 hours. Chucky.
Hi, this is Taco Bell. How can I take your order?
Donald, cut it out. It's me. You got to take down that sombrero meme. It's embarrassing me.
Embarrassing? The sombrero makes Hakeem look better than ever.
Donald, this is serious.
Okay, I'll tell you what. I'll take it down if you reopen the government.
Look, I need these illegals to have health care so I can keep eating Taco Bell without feeling guilty.
There it is. You care more about illegals than you do our own citizens. You're cooking Americans the same way you cook your hamburgers. Raw, careless, and making everybody sick.
I'm begging you, Mr.
Can't hear ya. Okay, you know why humor is funny? Because you haven't seen the last of it yet. Go. Guilty is charged.
Let's talk about the fact that President Trump incited an erection.
Hey,
His
baby.
various cases of, he's got charges of inciting an erection.
Yeah, baby.
Donald John Trump incited the erection.
They didn't like Donald Trump. They said he participated in an erection.
Let's talk about
Just remember, okay, folks, none of that shit is funny. If you're a leftist, this is not funny. Jump. 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 I used to know Spanish, but I don't know what the hell that means anymore. Hey, let's continue. Wait. The hall has changed slightly. It's not just one thing. What has been updated? Well, stand by for news. Okay, I can meme, you can meme, he can meme, we, he, she, and it can meme. I can do my Latin declensions all day long if you just let me. Oh, Schadenfreude. Wait, did I say this was Friday Night Schadenfreude?
Well, that sucks.
I remember this.
Yeah. So what happened is this leftist was screaming at protesters.
The car got lost.
And then suddenly she realized that it wasn't in gear and then it dropped into the drink. That's very sad, is it not? And then, of course, the most incredible guy in the world.
He congratulated the teleprompter on a powerful speech. He's fought in every American war since the 1700s.
I'm sorry, I needed to laugh today, okay?
He thanks the city he's not in, then waves at the flag like it's an old friend. He hides his own Easter eggs. He once sniffed a St.
He missed, and then he can't find them. God, that was the next obvious line.
Bernard's tail, mistakenly thinking that it was attached to an 8-year-old girl. He forgot where he left the Coke in the White House. Wait, no, he didn't. He needs GPS to find his way across a stage. He once tried to build a railroad from the Pacific all the way across the Indian Ocean. He thinks poor kids can be just as bright and talented as white kids. When someone answers his calls, he asks them what they want. He once woke up from a dream to realize that he was president, so he went back to sleep. Subtitles have a day dedicated to him. He's got hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun.
He's also the most confused man in the world. Don't think that I'm going to stop there. You know, if you love illegal immigrants, well, then have I got some places for you.
So you would do anything for like all the illegals
I think
and
we
stuff?
have to be fair.
Guys, this is great. I think we found a new home for you guys.
What guys?
Drive the bus.
Yeah. I don't understand what this is all about.
This is all the immigration. They're going to move into your house.
They are not.
What do you mean? You just said you wanted to support everyone, though.
Okay, that I don't.
No, they're
Guys,
not violent.
we got a
They're
new
not
house.
violent. They're good. They're
Oh no,
like,
hop it! Like just like you guys did before.
Thank you very much.
Can they stay for dinner? Wait. Well, we have your signature.
See, leftists are okay with that shit as long as they don't have to directly become involved themselves. This is also great. This is really great. At first, I thought when I did this, I see you yawning. I know you've been up all day. Do you have a Red Bull, or do you have a Rockstar, or do you have any brewed coffee, or, okay, wait a minute. Let me get rid of this, subtract this, put this
We're good. We're
up.
good. I've been sipping on
Okay.
energy drink, so we're good. It'll kick in a minute. So
Anyway, folks, to my left, your right, his middle, this is Rowdy Rick from KLRN. And please say Guten Tag, Guten Abend to Rick Rowdy of the Rowdy Rick KLRN DB podcast host and general manager and owner right here. Wait, am I pointing the right way? Yes. And owner.
Yeah, I'm over here. Yeah, that's me.
Okay. Oh, I'm backed up. Jeez, I'm so backed up. No wonder my stomach was rumbling. Hey, look, it's the Phantom. Sean Lewis came back, and I was first in no beer and steak. Still not home. Wait, by the magic, if he's not home, how's he chatting right now? The Phantom Canada Heavy Hall is in chat. Phantom James Harbin is here. Mission Ready Men is here. Phantom. I'm getting tired of Phantom. Canada Heavy Hall. Never liked Starbucks. Yeah, I know Starbucks coffee. Everybody tells me Starbucks coffee is just too damn acidic. I call those people NIMBYs, which means not in my backyard. Oh, Canada Heavy Hall. If we get there, and I may not because I have so much crap tonight, if I get there, there will be words about Canada coming. So let's put this up here. Like I say, at first I thought, oh, this is just another boring thing about Greta Thunberg. Oh, keep watching.
My name is Greta Thunberg. I'm a citizen of Sweden. If you are watching this video, I have been abducted and taken against my will by Israeli forces. Our humanitarian mission was non-violent and abiding by international law. Please tell my government to demand my and the others' immediate release.
But wait, there's more.
My name is Joachim Lamotte and I'm a Swedish citizen. If you see this video, Greta Thunberg has been abducted by Israeli forces. And I have a message from the Swedish people to the Israeli government. Please keep her. We have had her so many years in Sweden and we cannot stand it anymore. So you are doing us a really big favor right now. Thank you very much.
We now go on with life, which is already in progress. Hey, Macarena. But wait, now we're talking about the shutdown. And this does go back to the cavalcade of Amusing Gerp, or the carousel of Amusing Gerp, or whatever it was. And I'm going to ask Rowdy Rick Robinson about this in a couple of minutes. We got about 5 more minutes before the bottom of the hour break. Let me ask the chat room, do you guys want breaks tonight? Or maybe just an announcement like, well, you're listening to SHR. Kids, I can't even pronounce, that's all right. The feds can't even pronounce or spell NIMS, SIMS. But the backup, the Schumer, now, Rick, what did you call this? This government thingy that we're doing right now?
The Schumer shakedown.
Okay. And so what did I called it? The Schumer shakedown, shutdown, because I thought, why not add a few more other things on that? But I put this up. Jersey Joe, I think, put this up 1 day ago. Now, if illegals aren't getting free health care, why does this New York State of Health, the official health plan, and let me embiggen it so that you can see what it actually says. Look, starting January 1st, 2024, there's a new option for health insurance available for undocumented immigrants over 85, 65, 20 years. I'm wrong. I can't even add.
But come on, BZ. Everybody knows that's being handled at the state level. They're not going to get any federal funds.
I know. It's so sad and shocking. And of course, we have to show you that there's more. Huge portion of the budget for these agencies is federal dollars. They are lying. The same game they played with Planned Parenthood. Money is fungible, and look, it can go anywhere. Here's the state of Oregon. Free health coverage offered by the state of Oregon. People of any age or immigration status. Well, I wonder, Rick, who might be helping to co-fund Healthier Oregon? Any thoughts, sir?
Yeah, I have a few. Oh, yeah, primarily through a Medicaid program. Big shock.
Yeah. No shock whatsoever. Let me take this down and also put this up. This is important stuff. I love memes, but what you have to do, Don Sue says, meme them until they cry, then make memes about them crying so that you hear the lamentations of their women. And also Rick Robinson says, the left's new definition of fascism, stopping them from doing whatever it is that they want, whenever they want, including rape and murder and pillaging. Wise words, Rick.
Thank you. I've made it on this show twice this week now.
Whoa, Macarena. Hey, you want to hear the Democrats outing themselves? I played this before, or I tried to play it before, and perhaps I wasn't very successful. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you have played it at least once, but I'm going to do it again. Listen to the words that are coming out of her A8 Crusader huge mouth. Go.
But aren't Democrats demanding health care for illegal aliens?
Democrats are demanding health care for everybody.
But aren't Democrats demanding health care for illegal aliens?
Democrats are demanding health care for everybody.
Everybody. Well, that also includes, does it not, illegal aliens. Now, they'll not tell you, nor will they be honest about how it is that all that money gets there, how it gets through USAID, how it gets through any number of cutout organizations. Here's also this. This was grand. I got to put this up because the government shutdown. So the USDA says, due to the radical left Democrat shutdown, this government website will not be updated during the funding lapse. President Trump has made it clear he wants to keep the government open and support those who feed, fuel, and clothe the American people. Oh, there's more. I suspect there's always more. Here is the USDOJ. Look right up here at the very tippy top. Democrats have shut down the government. Department of Justice websites are not currently regularly updated. Please refer to the DOJ's plan for more information. More government websites. Look at the very top here. This is from DHS. Due to the lapse in federal funding, this website will not be actively managed. Click here for more informazione. And then, as if you didn't get it, from hhs.gov, mission critical activities of HHS will continue until the Democrat-led government shutdown. Please use this site as a resource. So basically, all of them are giving attribution to what is the Schumer shakedown shutdown.
Did you hear Her Hotness has a message on the comment line for the White House now?
Oh, no.
Yeah, she's actually on the message line stating that due to the government shutdown led by the Democrats, this line will not currently be monitored.
And so there it is. The truth in all points and all styles. Also, there's this was, oh wait, yes, I did. I went too far. Normally I write this down, but because there's no one to produce my show anymore, I need to do this because it is.
It's time for happy stories and good times.
And if I had a producer. But anyway, people like this segment. They seem to like it. Here's a happy story. Republican calls for lawmaker pay to be suspended amidst government shutdown. A Republican congressman has called for lawmakers to have their pay suspended during the government shutdown. Ralph Norman, South Carolina representative, has said, yeah, they should. Any number of people, and I bet you too, Rick Robinson, have said something similar to, when you don't come up with a budget, and this should be true for any and every state, if you don't come up with a budget, then from the point at which the budget is due, and then until an agreement is made, no one should get paid. And if people in the federal government aren't getting paid, you shouldn't either. The big difference being that you should not get any monies or any checks drawn for the time that the federal government was not funded. And I'm sure you've said that for quite some time, Rick Robinson.
Oh, yeah. I mean, honestly, I've been pushing for. So my idea, and I've been pushing this for a long time, is that they receive the same hourly rate that servers receive throughout the year. And then we get to vote at the end of the year whether or not they get their full pay.
Oh, voting. Ooh, gosh, I like that. Voting is very nice. Then there's another story. And this is, I'm curious what you think about this, whether this is a for true kind of thingy or this is just kind of play smoke. Patel cuts ties, FBI ties, with the ADL as organization faces backlash for TPUSA criticism. I kind of sort of long ago went along with the ADL until they linked up with the SPLC, the Southern Poverty Law Center, which is nothing but a massive leftist and globalist organization who happens to be racist and misogynist as well, and any other Easterphobe that I can throw in there at the time. So is this, Rick Robinson, is this smoke with some mirrors, or is this Kash Patel actually intending to do something? Because prior, under Comey, he was training and using ADL and SPLC aides for his FBI agents. So is this a difference about nothing or something significant, sir?
I mean, to me, it seems kind of significant. I mean, as you pointed out, the Anti-Defamation League is kind of, the antithesis of its name now. If anything, it's defamatory towards anything it doesn't align with. So I mean, I'll be curious to see what happens. I'm glad to see that we're detangling from it a bit. I don't know what's really going to come of it. But it would be nice to see them start getting some comeuppance for all the crap that they've pulled lately that we're just now starting to see. I'll be honest about that, because they are not a good group anymore. They haven't been for a long time.
No, that's like the ACLU. The ACLU used to actually back people that were interested in the Bill of Rights, and now they have absolutely zero interest in the Bill of Rights. Like I say, I don't think I'm going to be going into any breaks tonight. We may or may not end up going early or stopping early because of it, but I just want to let everybody know who we are and where we are. Producer.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Here's another happy story. Trump vows to shutter Democrat agencies amidst the government shutdown. And he transmitted this, as far as I'm concerned, in the clear from quite some distance away, saying that this will be a Rahm Emanuel golden opportunity to make sure that I get some of the things that I swore on my platform done in terms of reducing size of the government. So he said, you know what? You hand a government shutdown to me on a golden platter, and do not be surprised if I take advantage of it in a Rahm Emanuel kind of fashion. So, I may take advantage of that in terms of shuttering agencies that I don't particularly believe in, that are political leftist scams, that sort of thing. But again, the big question, Rick Robinson, is, are we going to see? Now, we saw some of what we wanted to see via Doge, and then Doge had a sunset clause. It is no longer with us. Again, I hate to, describe these as great ideas, but are they going to go anywhere? So in terms of a great idea, but will it go anywhere? Rick Robinson, is it a great idea and will it go anywhere?
I mean, I'll say the same thing I've said since the morning of the shutdown. The morning we knew things were shut down, Trump already told everybody that if they shut it down, I'm coming in with the red pens. As far as I'm concerned, he should have been in there 5 minutes after the shutdown. They're like 12:03 in the morning. Send Doge in. Doge hasn't been sunset. Elon's time with Doge was sunset.
Doge, that's right.
But
Doge is right. It was Elon.
Yeah, Doge is still there. He should have had them going in at 12:03, like 2 minutes after the shutdown was declared, and been like, and just start red tagging everything. I'm talking fire sale, everything must go kind of day. Just get rid of all of them. So yeah, I mean, I'm glad to see that he's apparently he's meeting with some folks to see what can be done. I don't feel like it's moving fast enough. I almost feel like it's he's trying to use it as a cudgel to bring the Democrats back to the table. And I don't care about any of that anymore. The whole reason we ran into what we ran into with Doge is because, well, you can't really do that because everything's already been funded for the fiscal year and you can't take that money back without going through this clawback process. Guess what? We're in a new fiscal year effective the 1st, but nothing's been funded yet. So go in and cut whatever the hell you want to cut and then make them force you to bring it back if it's something that they don't feel like should have been cut.
It's in limbo. And this is a golden opportunity to do this. Trump said, I got a meeting today with Russ Vought. Russ Vought is, I think, OMB, if I'm not mistaken, not Orange Man Bad, but Office of Management and Budget, that kind of thing. And he's been working with Trump to see where and when he can cut. And so he's consulting on what can be cut, where those cuts are going to be temporary, whether they're going to be permanent. And he said, I can't believe the radical left Democrats gave me this unprecedented opportunity. So he asks to me, which I think is a critical but obvious question. Okay, they're not stupid people. Some people have labeled leftists as such. Yeah, on a certain level. Okay, they're not stupid people. So maybe this is their way of wanting to quietly and quickly make America great again. So says President Donald John Trump. I'm not going with that, but I am going with there's so much pressure. And Rick Robinson, would you tend to I'm going to make a generality here. Would you tend to concur with the generality that Schumer is in fear for his life?
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And AOC said Tuesday, I think I played it last Tuesday, where she said essentially, if you want to make a deal, if you want to talk to somebody, if you want to cut something, come to me. Not one mention of Chuck Schumer. So that tells me, I mean, and she said that in the clear, to me, that tells everyone that Chuck's not in charge, Pelosi's not in charge, she's in charge. And I believe that she's going to be running for 2028. Sir Rick.
Well, to put a bit of context here, that was in response. She said it was in response to what Republicans were saying about Chuck Schumer being afraid of her because she was coming after his seat. And that's when she said, if you really believe that, then my office is open. Come negotiate with me. Now, that doesn't change the fact that I do believe Chuck Schumer is terrified of the more radical wing of his party and that he already knows that she's coming for his seat because of course, the media has been talking about that little confab that her and Bernie had outside of the Capitol, where she at one point kind of said something similar to Miss Waters, where she said, first we're going to get past this hurdle with healthcare, then we're going to fight to make healthcare a human right. So basically, same thing. And then she took a bunch of her donors in to go check out Schumer's office and start sizing it for drapes. Not even kidding.
Whoa, I did not know that. I was not aware of that.
She gave a bunch of her donors and constituents a tour, and they stopped off in Schumer's office just to check it out. As far as I know, I don't even think he was in there. So I'm pretty sure she was measuring for drapes.
Wow. And to that, it brings up this at least 2, maybe 2.5 years ago, if anyone recalls, Newsom had made a couple of trips to the Oval Office. And people were saying at the time, because they were thinking, oh, he's such a shoo-in for all of this, that he too was measuring the drapes at that time. I kind of think that Newsom's hat is in the ring for 2028. I believe that we're going to see the AOC name for 2028, Rick Robinson. Thoughts, and or if it's not her or him at this point, I get it. Way early. We're not even in midterms, but any thought about Democrats, ring-a-ling-ding? Who are we looking at, sir?
Well, I'll tell you somebody that I think is going to try for it, but I don't think is going to get anywhere because her district's basically been dissolved. I would not be surprised if Slavey Crockett makes a run in 2028.
Oh, that's right. I had completely forgotten about her. She's a great source of entertainment, but you think she's going to step up to it?
I think she's going to try because she's going to have to find relevance again. She's probably going to try to move into another district in Texas and run again, I would assume.
Well, she'd almost have to, because if it's true, another BZ if-then equation, if it's true, then having the district dropped out from underneath her, she's going to have to find some other nice place to land, so to speak.
I mean, because let's not forget, she's the one who thinks because she's a social media influencer, she should get all the top cabinet spots anyway. So,
oh, that's right. That's true. She's kind of the new Joe Biden in terms of, let's say something really stupid and I'll make some noise about it and I'll be very entertaining, but really my intelligence is on average with that of your basic houseplant, your average ficus, or Hank Johnson.
The funny thing about her, and I know this isn't where we really meant the show to go, so I'll let it go after this. But the funniest thing about her is realizing that she is in the top 1%, especially for a person of color. She grew up going to a very affluent private school. Her parents are very well off. When you see her early interview, she spoke like she was educated by Martha Stewart. And now she's been elected, and it's Hooked on Phonics done fucked her up. I don't.
See page 23. Psalms 4, the book of Ebonics, and she's plucked directly from that. Here's another lovely kind of happy story. And this guy, I don't know what you think of Lawrence Jones. I think he's underrated. He turns out to be a really sharp dude. And here he's speaking to Senator Shaheen about no, Democrats, we don't know. That's not.
I haven't heard anybody in my party saying that illegal immigrants should get access to the health insurance marketplace.
I'm so glad you said that.
Spring the trap.
Actually, I have some tape of your
Democratic Party members saying this on the debate stage. So they've all
I love the response she had.
said, and let's play the clip.
Raise your hand
And did you see the little smirk on her face? Like, oh, fuck, I got.
if your government plan would provide coverage for undocumented immigrants. It was unanimous?
That's literally every member of your party, from moderate to more
Now her brain is moving into deny everything mode.
Progressive that have said that in the past. I've seen them all on the table.
I beg to disagree with you.
Are you kidding me? Are you out of your mind?
Gotcha, bitch.
I haven't heard anybody in my party saying that illegal immigrants should get access to the health insurance marketplace.
I'm so glad you said that.
Okay, but wait, in case you didn't get it first, I have the full thing of about 15 seconds.
You've been talking tonight about these government health care plans that you've proposed in one form or another. This is a show of hands question, and hold them up for a moment so people can
This is right off the TV, kids, right off NBC.
see. Raise your hand if your government plan would provide coverage for undocumented immigrants.
Let's see. Let's stop right there. Okay, let's see. I don't know who that is. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, is that Biden not putting his hand up?
Oh,
5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now let's go further.
I was gonna say, just give it a second.
And see if Biden's hand shoots up.
Start with you, Mayor Buttigieg. Why?
He didn't.
Actually, I'm pretty sure he did, didn't he? I thought.
Okay, let's
what
play
he
it again.
was doing that. I thought maybe I missed it
Let me go. Let me cue it back up.
because I know the one I played today showed his hand going up, but it was kind of like the early.
Would provide coverage.
Okay, let me put it back up right to the point where we see them with the hands. Let's watch again.
For undocumented immigrants.
Okay, there we go. I missed it. You're right. I missed it. There's his hand. Good, Joe. Good boy. Want a biscuit, Joe? Want a biscuit? You can have one. You can have a biscuit, Joe. That's what I say to my dogs. Good
Oh,
boy.
damn it! You realize you have like a commercial playing in my head right now, right?
Okay, go ahead. What is it?
Taste the biscuit.
Oh, wait. Comments. Let's go back up to comments. Phantom said Arsebucks. Mission ready men. Mission ready men. Phantom says thank you. Canada Heavy Haul. Newsom AOC ticket. I don't think I don't see AOC acquiescing to being a second place person on a ticket at all.
Besides, I have a feeling she prefers being on top. So,
well, yeah. Wait. God, get your thumb off the thing. 17,000 years. I don't even know how to operate a bell. I have not read the owner's manual yet. Or is it the owner's Garcia? I don't know which one it is. Let me take this off. Go on over here. Divide by 3. This is a great one. Oh, stop, dude. Comments. I'm back and I'm not sober.
That was quick.
That too is worthy of. It's Friday night, folks. If we can't drink heavily, what can we do?
I am only slightly depressed that his Beanertown visage hasn't made it over here, though.
Oh, good point. Sean is back. Hooked on Ebonics. Yep. Yes, exactly, Earl. Exactly. The Phantom, good evening. Hooked on Ebonics. Done worked for me. Okay, that was a body slam in public in front of her grandkids. And he spit on her after that. Speaking of spit, here's something that occurred between. Never do we ever hear a follow-up question given by the American media maggots to anything. But here was an actual question, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, there was a follow-up question posed directly in here. This is Jake Tapper and Sombrero Jeffries. Take it away.
Donald Trump
blessed it as well.
So let me ask you about a provision that the Republicans are talking about quite a bit. I know you want to talk about, and Democrats want to talk about, extending the Obamacare subsidies, which expire at the end of 2025.
However,
but they talk about the provisions, and it's right here, subtitle E, and this has to do with the repeal of healthcare subtitle changes, and specifically what it is. How they characterize it is you want to give health insurance to undocumented immigrants. I understand that's not really an accurate depiction, but what it does do is...
It's a lie.
It's a lie.
Oh, wait, there it is in black and white. So, no, it isn't a lie.
But what you support does bring back funding for emergency Medicaid to hospitals, some of which does pay for undocumented immigrants and people who don't have health insurance. And also there is this provision, and it's not about undocumented immigrants, it's about people with asylum seekers and people with temporary protected status, et cetera, but about,
illegal immigrants,
their ability to get Medicaid. So they're
I'm sorry, I was wrong. Illegal invaders.
Citizens, they're not undocumented, they're not illegal.
Yes, they are.
Why even include that in a bill, knowing that they're going to seize right upon that and use that to message? I understand that
Donald Trump.
Okay, stop. The messaging, Rick Robinson, does not seem that it's going exactly as planned by the Lord God leftist.
Well, no. So what's happening, right? So and this was made what I'm about to say was a valid point made by Gutfeld on the 5 earlier today. The left is still treating this as if they are going up against Trump 1.0. And they're going up against Trump 2.0. Actually, I think it may have been Waters, even not Gutfeld. But the issue is this worked for them the last time. What they're running into now is because Trump knows he can't run again, so he's entered that I have no F's to give mode. So he's just trolling everybody about everything, and the media is jumping all over all the trolling. So the Dems are losing all the messaging. So now you've even got guys like this one who's still trying to run cover for them, but then kind of pointing out, hey, just so you know, I know it's not how you meant it to sound, but it basically says that right here. Why would you put that in there when you know they're going to be pointing that out, especially since we know that's not really what you meant? That's as close as a klaxon alarm as you're going to get from a leftist water carrier of like, hey, you guys may have just screwed up even worse than you think because we can see it right here. And we're going to try to run cover for you for it because we have to. But you kind of done messed up. But the thing about it is the media their TDS has gotten so bad that now Trump has them chasing their tail about the memes instead of getting the Democrats' message about the shutdown off the ground. Now, don't get me wrong, depending on the different polls that you look at, and depending on who's commissioning the polls and what their weighting is, you can find polls that blame the Democrats. You can find polls that blame the Republicans. But the thing about it is the media is not talking about the shutdown. They're talking about why did you put this in here? Or did you see that Donald Trump posted a meme that somebody put a sombrero on Hakeem Jeffries? Not the Republican shutdown. Most of the left-wing rags aren't even saying anything about the Republican shutdown. Half of them have been calling it the Democrat shutdown.
Well, the funny thing is, I being the political animal that I am, I've been watching, God, please don't kill me. I've been watching a little bit of MSNBC. I've been watching a little bit of CNN. And in process of doing that, all the polls that I see that are being quoted in there are nothing but, well, the Democrats have it way over the Republicans, and people recognize that the Democrats didn't shut down the government. It was the Republicans that shut down the government, even though, parenthesis, even though we had the opportunity to push a clean CR, but we decided we were going to vote it down despite facts. Polls are still showing that, it reminds me of the Jake Gyllenhaal, Michael Pena movie, End of Watch, where they walk up to the gangbanger and they say, I hear they call you Big Evil. Why do they call you Big Evil? And he looks up and says, because my evil is big. It's like, why do they call you Big TDS? Because your TDS is big. It's huge. It's massive. It can't necessarily fit through the doors. And every morning now I decide I want to watch this video just to make me happy in the morning. For those of you who just tuned in, I can start any morning just by watching that. That's not big evil, that's defense. Then we heard this. The man who planned to kill Justice Kavanaugh was sentenced. Now they're calling him Sophia because he ding takes a magic wand and fairy dust and ding, I no longer have a Peter. Ding, call me Sophia. So these people in UPI say, woman who planned to kill Brett Kavanaugh to be sentenced. And if you can't even tell the truth in media, how is it possible? You know, I watched, for example, you and Brad Slager this morning. And I love watching your shows together on Friday. So if you see him next, give some kudos to Brad for me. I love watching your stuff. But in terms of that in the media, because he talks about media, you both guys do in the third hour. I mean, how can we have a discussion with people and sympathizers, the American media maggots, who they can't even tell the truth? They don't know about physiological functions. And if two people cannot share any commonalities in language, just basic language, how is it that we can be expected to communicate with anyone on that level? I had I'll go through this and I'll talk about this in just a second. I fervently thought that YouTube was going to be all a splash, but of course, making me think that I'm much bigger than I really am, because I'm not. I thought, okay, all the leftists that I was arguing with today on X, and I got swamped with blah, 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 blah. And you guys are violent. We're not violent. And, you know, all the standard bullshit. And if we, I'm grasping for the question here, but I'm not making it. How do we communicate with people like this who write shit like that?
Well, that's just it. We can't anymore. There's something that goes back to a point that Michael Savage tried to make years ago: borders, language, and culture. When you don't have language in common anymore, and you don't have culture in common anymore, you don't have the ability to communicate anymore, because you start seeing yourselves as different people. And part of that is because of the way our language is changing. One of the things that I've pointed out for the last couple of weeks is there's a big difference between the modern concept of empathy, and it is a modern concept, and sympathy, because everything that the left tries to ascribe to empathy is actually just sympathy, but they want it to sound like it's this much bigger thing than it is. And in reality, empathy is a fallacy, because the entire concept of empathy means that you have to be able to see exactly how another person is feeling. That's impossible, but you can put yourself in the position of how would I feel if this was happening to me, and that's sympathy. But the reason the left likes empathy so much, and it's funny because I found this out by accident while researching for the new show that I started. There is a Greek word for empathy. It was never once mentioned in the New Testament, but it was created. It was created by grafting two words together, and it meant for a time in Greek empathy. Guess what the modern definition of that word is now?
Please.
Hatred.
Oh, wonderful.
Because the gradual path of empathy, if you are basically deciding how somebody else feels, and you're trying to basically walk in their shoes, when you start seeing them as less than human, then then you can't empathize with them anymore, because that's holding a mirror up to them. When you use sympathy, you're holding a mirror up to yourself, meaning that no matter how you see them, you can ask yourself, if I were in this situation, how would I want to be treated? And it's funny to me when you think about it, because Jesus never once used the word empathy, not once. And the Greeks did try to create a word for it, and now it means the exact opposite. Because
Are you talking about pathos?
I don't remember the exact word of it, but it was two words that were blended together that they basically created to mean what we call empathy today, and the modern definition of it is hatred. I just thought that was interesting.
Okay. I want to put this up here because I'm sure that Sean was only mentioning this in jest. Like BZ talking to a computer, not likely gonna work well. I'm sure Sean was just going, that's some funny stuff right there, that BZ. So you opened a door that I'm going to please make you walk through, sir. You just said that you created a new show. What is that?
It's called Kingdom and Country. It's inspired by what Charlie Kirk did, and basically blending politics and faith. And it airs every Sunday night. For the foreseeable future, it'll be Sunday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern. And then once Al comes back, it'll go back to Sunday at 10 p.m. Eastern.
Okay. All righty. Thank you. Now, gosh, I don't have it up here. I can't throw it over on the screen over here. I could if I was giving myself enough time, but I don't, so I won't. I went back and found your post about that. Empathy. Noun, empathy, the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. He has a total lack of empathy for anybody. Sympathy, feelings of pity and sorrow for someone else's misfortune. They had a great sympathy for the flood victims. Rick Robinson, and this was a post, and I put it up on Facebook, I believe. What if I told you that not only is the modern concept of empathy a fallacy, but it's also why half the country is free to hate the other half? If you look it up, as you said, it talks about empathy, but the golden rule calls for sympathy, not empathy. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you, not do unto others as you assume they would have done for themselves. And then you write, now, here's the reason once someone convinces themselves that you're a monster, empathy frees them to treat you accordingly. Sympathy forces them to hold a mirror to themselves and make how they would want to be treated the benchmark. Now, I think I see the difference.
Yes, and this is all coming from the same thing, because the Democrats have made us the villain of the story. But the scary thing is, because for anybody who understands what they're doing, you understand that they're projecting everything that, because every idea they have ever had, they have assumed we've had the same one first. So as far as they're concerned, they're beating us to the punch, because like look at Donald Trump getting in trouble for mortgage fraud. The person that tried to get him in trouble for mortgage fraud had actually committed mortgage fraud.
Yes.
I mean, we're talking about real world examples of the very things that we've been talking about now for years, which is the left's projecting everything that they have ever thought about us onto us and assuming that we think the same way that they do, when in reality we don't. Up until September 10th, 2025, most of us thought the Democrats and most leftists, other than maybe their leadership, were decent people with terrible ideas. And I'm sorry, I can't think that way anymore. No. Not when I saw them dancing in the streets over an assassination. These people were dancing in the streets the same way Al-Qaeda was dancing in the streets when the planes hit the building.
You know, as you were saying that, as that was coming out of your mouth, that's the first thing I thought of is, did we see this picture before? Have we seen this picture before? And the answer is yes, 9/11. And how disgusting a reference is that when you teen about it? Because as we've said, I know you've said it, I have too, for any number of years, what we have are leftists doing the exact same thing of which they accuse us, only they themselves are doing it much longer, harder, deeper, and worse. I don't know any other way to quantify it except as that.
And it's just terrifying to think about, because I mean, you just saw it with, and if I'm not mistaken, I think that was Tapper that was talking to Sombrero in the clip and kept trying to say, I don't know why you put this in here when you knew it was going to be what they were going to do. Because Charloff tried to do the same thing today on the 5.
I watched it.
Because they showed her that paragraph, and then she says, But if you'll see just right under there, it actually talks about people that are here on asylum status and everything else. And then Gutfeld is like, oh, you mean the stuff that's been abused all over the place? That we can't verify. Yeah. So that leads to the same thing. And then it goes back to just the common sense idea that money is fungible. If I only have $100 and I'm going to have to spend it on food, so I have $100, I can either spend it on food or I can spend it on a gun to go rob a bank to get more money. So all of a sudden somebody gives me $100. So now I have $100 for food and I have $100 for a gun to go rob a bank. What do you think I'm going to do with the extra $100?
And boom, folks, look, wrong way. Look right down here in chat. Mission Ready Men says every accusation from the left is a confession. I could not possibly have said that better myself. Mission Ready Men, that was absolutely stellar. Stop just for a moment because I'm not playing things. I'm not playing the promos and whatnot. Mission Ready Men can be found on the same days that I am, Tuesdays and Thursdays, except Earl Jackson of Mission Ready Men is on at 9 a.m. Pacific and noon Eastern. He's a morning kind of guy, and I'm an evening kind of guy. Let me put this up there again because it was so salient, so true, so accurate in as few a number of words as possible. Every accusation from the left is a confession. Holy crap. When I play this show again, I'm actually going to write that down because there's brevity. It's succinct. It says everything that needs to be said. Absolutely everything. And then this is when, would you be surprised that this is the video that corked off a lot of leftists against me on X today. This is Homeland Security, Dear Antifa, we're just getting started. Violence. Look at the violence on the part of DHS. They're the ones that are violent. It's DHS. It's Homeland Security. They're the violent people. That's all I got. Blah, 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 blah. And just that video right there was enough to cook everybody and cork everyone else off, to which I ended up saying, I learned, okay, Rick, does social media occasionally teach you a lesson? I will tell you about my lesson learned today. If you have one, speak now or forever hold your codpiece.
Well, so same thing happened to me today for a different reason. So I lipped off to Hakeem Jeffries today because he posted something, and I said, "Shouldn't you be off somewhere doing a Mexican hat dance?"
Oh, did you get a response?
Not from him, but a bunch of leftists were that's racist, right? No, in fact, it's not racist. It's stereotypical. Now, if Jeffries was a beaner, then it would in fact be racist. But it's not. It's just stereotype.
Oh, he's Hakeem Jeffries. He's, as far as I know, he'd have to take a fucking DNA test to see if there's any Mexican in him whatsoever. And I don't think he's going to spend the money to do that. Is just my thought.
From what I hear, I think he had some Mexican in him last night, but that's a different story.
Oh. Ha ha, rub, Nick. Yeah, I get it. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Old Monty Python skit. So I'll tell the Democrats and leftists what I told them once. And then my mistake was trying to start to have any kind of response. And then literally there were, I have never experienced this before. I have uncorked the Kraken on the left because all the little lizards, they grow up to be dragons, because that's what leftists do. And eventually I had to write something similar to, okay, Democrats and leftists, I got to tell you this. You are now these days basically toothless. You are fangless. I don't really give a shit what you call me anymore. You don't hold anything over me. Our jobs, my job certainly, because I'm retired, is not your hostage. But moreover, your labels and your words, they don't mean anything. Though those days are over. They're gone. They're done. Like I said, I've said it here any number of times. I've been shot at and insulted by professionals. None of you leftist fuckers are professionals. You are irrelevant. You are unimportant. You are trivial. You are incoherent. You are unhinged. You are narcissistic. You are sociopathic. And I discovered, whoa, nothing inflames a leftist more than telling them that they are powerless, that they are ineffectual, that they are unimportant, they are trivial, that they are incoherent, unhinged, narcissistic, sociopathic. They're barking at themselves. They don't want to hear your words. And their words are like, some kind of a little shrew or a lobster or whatever, running pee or come off a duck's back. They're no longer the gatekeepers, and that super pisses them off. They are completely meaningless, and moreover, no one cares. Very few people care anymore. We don't pay attention to them anymore. Only the insane. Here's who pays attention to leftists: themselves, the insane, the fearful, the cowardly. They pay attention. That's their contingent now. That's their block. That's their tranche. They own them. Because if nothing else, Charlie Kirk showed us who they really are, or who they really were. Up in a private thingy right here. Let me see. Oh, yes. Oh, BZ should have played this. Okay. Keep the folks, if you will, occupied right now for maybe 30 seconds or so while I do some copy and pasting, because Rick just sent me something that I need to play. I should have played this. I knew it was there. I think I heard it on your show today, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, I actually played it twice because I played it for Brad too.
And so it is Gloria. Okay. Cutting, pasting, doo-dah.
Another one that got me in trouble today. That's why I had to share it.
So here we are. This is, if I'm not mistaken, this is BOC. I'm sorry, those babies are just fucking creepy. Jesus.
Here comes the Reaper, be able to fly. Here comes the Reaper, baby, and your plan.
Blah, blah, blah. That's classic. That is $1 million monster classic. Thank you for sending that to me. I was singing along. Rick is dying. I'm here in my Galactus and Darkseid shirt. God, that was fabulous. But see, that is again, Rick Robinson. Does that not prove? Are you not entertained?
Exactly.
And who is it that is entertaining us? It's not leftists.
I mean, they're trying. Like, I think it was
the kitties thing.
Well, Colbert tried to get into the meme game, and somebody put together one of Vance humping a couch, and they thought that was hilarious. And I'm just like, I mean, I give you an A for effort because you tried, but that's not funny because it's already been debunked. So whatever.
Well, the other thing that I loved, as I played earlier, is the hall of framed things, and then you come up to JD Vance, and he gets bigger and fatter and rounder, and I'm sorry, I see that shit and I start screaming. That is great, meaning that they can make fun of themselves.
Well, and so this is something else that I talked about on my show today. There is a really good Trump impersonator, and for some reason his name is escaping me right now, but he put out a video the other day, and it was right around the same time as the shutdown, and he started calling it the Schumer siesta, which I thought was great too.
Oh, yeah.
Because of the sombrero thing. But the president put that out over his own social media account, and I'm sorry, I don't know if you guys have ever actually dealt with a narcissist. I don't care how good the impression was to everybody else. I don't care how perfect it seemed to the outside. A narcissist would have found every single flaw with it and never would have shared it.
Oh, yeah.
I can't. And somehow I've missed it up until now, because I think the first time Trump did try to be a lot more serious than he's being right now. And he's just having fun with it at this point because he knows it's eating their lunch. And it's just, people hate me when I say things like this, because I'm not saying he's anywhere near as refined as Reagan was for his time. But the way that he's working the media this time is completely Reagan-esque, because he's walking the dog with them. He's pointing them everything he wants them to see, and they're just chasing it down like it's the stick or the tennis ball.
Depending on your side, well, we will never see a Rush Limbaugh again. We will never see a Ronald Reagan again. I don't believe we'll see a Charlie Kirk again. We may see a series of Charlie Kirks. That's up for discussion and yet to be proven. But we will not see a Donald Trump again. I'm hoping that the people that are surrounding him, that have opportunities for promotion, shall we say, are learning from him. But to be able to take all that information and the way he uses it and runs with it, by the way, 120 people watching live right now. That is absolutely, absolutely incredible. And thank you for being here on an unscheduled and heretofore previously unannounced show. And again, thanks to Rick Robinson for being here tonight, because I know that you are super, 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 and did I say super busy? Because that's how busy you are, super busy. So thanks for being here.
Not a problem.
We're not going to see these people again. We hope that we see people that are very similar, but we're not going to see these folks again. But the other thing that's nice is Donald John Trump, OMB, Orange Man Bad, the guy with the dead orange cat on his head, also has the bully pulpit, and he's a lame duck. So in those 2 points in which I'd care to illustrate, he is operating, I'd say, a percentile in the DGAF, the Dilligaff mode right now, because he personally has nowhere to go. I mean, if you're a leftist and you're offended at the Trump 2028 hat, and he's going to break the law, Governor Newsom, of all people, what a fucking moron, is saying, I don't think we're going to have elections anymore. I think Trump is going to stop that's the silly, stupid bullshit that the Q morons were saying, and all the Q people right now are giving me the finger, the double Q finger. Here's your dairy Q finger right here. And so fine, Q was a bunch of bullshit, because Q is bullshit because of all the people that, if you knew everything, you just let all these people die. And you could have done something to save them. If you know everything and you have everything and you have all the receipts, you're full of shit. Like Adam Schiff was full of shit. I've got the receipts. I've got the evidence. No, you don't. No, you don't. Here's another good story. Senator Bernie Moreno introduces a legislation to tax Congress during a shutdown. I think that's wonderful. That's a great thing. Also, well, the door was open. And so be not surprised when people walk through. Pull up the headline up there. Joni Ernst demands $2 trillion in federal cuts, urges the Trump team to make D.C. squeal amid a shutdown fight. Oh, not just regular yes, but extra crispy, extra salty yes. Rick Robinson, thoughts, dreams, visions of fairies dancing in the dust, in Oklahoma dust, and getting dirty and then being licked like a cow licks a salt lick. Ew.
That was rather descriptive. Sorry, I was actually a bit flabbergasted by a headline that I just saw that I just sent to you.
Okay.
So I was a little distracted because so there's a hell of a story breaking about a candidate for attorney general.
Oh, hang on. Okay, folks, talk amongst yourselves, or Rick Robinson can keep.
No, I mean, I
just for a second while I copy and paste. I may be old and stupid, but I can still copy and paste. And there we go. Divide by 3, carry the 4, and here it is. And this is the story. Go ahead, sir. You saw it first.
So one of the Democratic candidates for Virginia Attorney General is being criticized for old text messages. In these old text messages, he was talking about killing Republicans and their children.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, fun times, right?
Well, you know, again, that makes you think, will we ever see an end of this? You know, I can't remember. I have a signed copy of the book, for God's sake. I should know this. It's where one of the popes says, Michelangelo, will you ever make an end? Leftists, will you ever stop being violent? Is that possible?
No, I don't think it is anymore. They've accepted violence, but that's just it. This is part of their plan. As soon as they got people on their side to believe that words were violence, they won the argument. Because even though they decry it, even though they scream and yell that they don't want it, as soon as think about this from an American perspective. When someone is violent towards you, what as an American do you have the right to do? Defend yourself.
Well, yeah, it's the Hitler adage in terms of, well, if everybody's Hitler that isn't you, then you hate Hitler. Hitler was killed. We fought a war against Hitler. Shouldn't we do the same thing for anyone you think is Hitler?
Well, it goes even worse than that, though, because think about this from another perspective. If words are violence, if what you say can be deemed as being violent or hate speech, then that means that somebody who speaks ill against you, you have the right to defend yourself against by any means necessary, including extreme prejudice. And they've proven it over and over and over again. And that's been part of their design all along, is what I'm afraid of. But and the thing about it is, I think some people on their side didn't expect it to get spun up this quickly, because you can see some of them trying to walk away from it. And now you see the more I guess what's the word I'm looking for? Jihadist style among them that are just all for it. That wasn't the word I was looking for, but it's close enough. And it's just because there's the Democratic Party is tearing itself apart in ways that I've never seen before, because they were all, we used to joke about it all the time when I first started getting involved in politics, when I was still a registered Republican. We were the first ones that would circle the wagons, and it starts, instead of shooting people from the outside, we turn the guns on each other and start shooting each other after we circled them. We're watching them start to do the same thing, which is why you've got Schumer and AOC fighting with one another, even though they're trying to pretend they're not. You've got the more extreme wing of the Democratic Party that wants them to fight by any means necessary, no matter what it takes. You've got New York City ready to be handed over to a communist by a group of kids. Says, well, we've tried capitalism long enough and it doesn't work, so let's try this instead. You know what? There comes a time when you got to start letting people have what they voted for, because it's the only way they're ever going to learn.
Thank you. But was it not people like you and I, Rick Robinson, who said, historically, the Democrats have always been the ones who could circle the wagons and protect themselves most effectively, while the Republicans were off shooting their hats off, shooting themselves in the foot. And now the role has reversed. Now, with regard specifically to this story, is this not the exact same thing that occurred to conservatives and Republicans 5-10 years ago? Mm-hmm. In terms of, well, let's see, we have this conservative, this Republican, here's their name. I know, let's go back 75,000 years, research all their social media, and find out when they were fallible. Guess what, Democrats and leftists? You fuckers opened that door, surprised be not when we walk through and traipse through that background as well. This is similar to what happened with this guy right here. When will, not just them, not just the leftists, but when will we, everyone, not realize the internet is for fucking ever? Everything ever is ever that was ever on your texts, your phones, your emails, blah, blah, Patriot Act, the NSA, Utah Data Center, every bit of those ones and zeros, every bit, every byte, every slop, every droozle is in their confusers. They're massive banks of water-sucking, energy-consuming computers. Here where I live in Kootenai County, an astounding thing happened not but a week ago, where the county commissioners or supervisors, I think they're whatever the hell they're called, there's only 3 of them, decided, you know what, we're going to come up with a law that says there will be no data centers here. Well, one of the reasons that I moved to where I am now up in Nof, Idaho, is I did a remarkably stupid or smart thing. I didn't go necessarily by, well, they have the best Mexican food here. They have the best pizza here. I didn't give a shit about that. I wanted to know where I can find the most water. Who has one of the biggest aquifers, and who has some of the most consistent electrical generation that I could go to as long as it wasn't hot, humid, disgusting, and I wasn't going to get swamped by flies and beasts. And I determined that we're sitting over one of the largest aquifers on the entire United States. We have some of the most consistent power from the Columbia River generated here. We have never once had a power shut off in any way, means, or fashion since I've been here for 3 years. Now, call me weird, don't call me late for dinner because I'm fat and need to keep this up. But the Kootenai supervisors decided we're going to do something smart and not get involved in this stuff. We're not going to fall bait and prey to that. So they want to keep this place as close to what it is as possible. Sean also says, by the way, California has the worst pizza. Said the guy who, oh God. Okay, time out just for a moment. Rick Robinson, best and worst pizza that you can think of. Or types of pizza, maybe even.
Well, so best pizza around here for me is going to have to be from a place called Pizza Shuttle. It's actually probably about as close to New York style pizza as I've ever gotten, except for the one time I was in New York. And I absolutely love New York style pizza. As far as worst pizza, I guess Pizza Hut's probably the most, as far as chain pizza, Pizza Hut's got to be the one that's the most disappointing, because when I was a kid, Pizza Hut was amazing.
They aren't anymore.
It's just terrible now. I mean, Domino's beats them by a mile now, and I remember when Domino's used to be a joke. But I mean, if I've got to go with all-time worst, taste the most like cardboard, not really worth it unless you're throwing a kid's birthday party, it's got to be Little Caesars.
Oh, okay. Zing, bang, boom, bing, zing, zing. Okay. 2 things. Worst pizza. When I was living in Ohio for a while, my dad worked on Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. We lived on Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. If you went off base, you went to go get pizza. Pizza in Ohio was round. It came out of an oven round, but it got served in squares. They would chop it into squares, 90-degree angles, as in what the fuck. And the other pizza, there's a local pizza store that doesn't mean anything, but they have great pizza. And the other thing that I was just going to say was, yeah, Little Caesars. Oh, wait. Now, Phantom, are you saying that's the best pizza? Or are you saying that's the worst pizza?
Pineapple doesn't belong on pizza unless it's Hawaiian barbecue pizza.
No, absolutely not. So let's go back to the story. And the story was, hey, this guy, Jason Myers, Miaris is dropping smears through Trump-controlled media organization to assault my character. Only it turns out everything that he was saying, and they found the receipts.
Now keep in mind, this is us using the left's actual definition of cancel culture, because what they were talking about in the last few weeks wasn't cancel culture. Cancel culture is when you go back through somebody's history and find stuff from 5, 10, 15 years ago and then use it to destroy them now. That's cancel culture. So I'm sorry, it might have taken us a while to play the game, but now you're going to find out we were better at it than you. And I'm sorry. I'm not sorry, because we told you not to do it.
No. And we are infinitely better at memeing than you are. HMFOG. Also, Newsmax. Did Brad talk about this? I think I missed. I missed nothing. Did Brad talk about next Netflix?
I don't think so, because I'm pretty sure he and Orty talked about it on the Culture Shift last night. And it's not a topic that came up for us today.
Okay, alrighty. Netflix, and I'm a Netflix subscriber. Netflix loses more than 15 billion with a B, billion dollars in 1 week. And Rick Robinson, why would that be?
Well, so for those of you who can't really decide how big that number is, just as a reminder, that's a 1 and a 5 with 9 zeros after it. Not 3, not 6, but 9 zeros. And that would be because none other than Elon Musk found out about a particular show that was on there, a couple of different shows actually, that talk about children being transgender, started making a bunch of noise about it. So he canceled, and then he told everybody else that he was canceling. Then it went viral. So now everybody's like, show me your Netflix cancellation receipt and I'll follow you.
Well, then it says also in the story, the hashtag cancel Netflix went viral. Stop just for a moment. Sean says pineapple on pizza is the leading cause of Italian self-unaliving. Very, very suave and debonair means and manner of talking about seppuku in modern day, and no one talks about it. Correct.
I mean, most of the Italians I know are a lot like Gene, so meh.
Oh, all right. Okay. Sorry. It took me a second to clue in. Gene, you're young and alive. Shut up. Don't sing. Just play your sports. Don't sing, BZ. Hey, put this up on the stage and let's see. This is 2 minutes. I'm going to play it all of people being actually rational. Oh, wait a minute. No, I'm not going to do that. Wait, who am I? Where am I? What is this?
Behold the ancient, obese, conservative Sherpa in his natural element, a wondrous cornucopia of vibrant foliage festooned upon his face, various tiaras adorning that scabby pate, creating a veritable carnival of conservative cogitations and, some might posit, an overload of bulbosity, unrestrained. Please, citizens, avail yourselves of his liquid offerings as the saloon continues, unabated, like bad Bolivian gas station sushi.
And then?
This bill is really focused on punishment, and I just want to look at these types of considerations.
Criminals shouldn't be punished. What?
With a bigger lens.
We're talking about people. We're talking about victims. We're talking about perpetrators. We're talking about human beings doing things to other human beings that should not be done. And what are we going to do about that? And again, what this bill says is that when you get your third violent felony conviction, we're done. Like, we're not playing anymore. Like, I past that point, I don't know if I care if you ever
This is perfect.
Become a productive citizen, because you have opted out of productive society. Your third violent felony conviction? I don't know how interested I am in making sure you get educated and you get at that.
Stop. Do you know how hard you have to work in an actual leftist urban rat cage, a lurk, to either be arrested, much less convicted in a blue state, in a blue city, in a blue county. That's work. That's hard work.
Point, you're talking about a chronic dysfunction in a person's ability to be a member of society. And past that point, it is the responsibility of those of us who govern society to protect everyone else, to protect everyone who is functional, who isn't harming their neighbor, who isn't violating the rights of others.
The thing that I wanted to see on this, but you can't, is what is the reaction of the green, purple, cow thing through her nose, leftist chick reacting to all of
I'll give you
this?
some stats that I know are solid and that from a source that I know you trust. And I won't, disclose the particulars of where I got this from, but I think you'll know when I tell you. I had a meeting this week with somebody who works with juveniles. And he presented me a folder that was about as thick as one of our statute books. The documents inside covered the crimes committed by only 6 juveniles. Those 6 juveniles over the course of the last 18 months are personally responsible for 174 separate victims.
Holy crap.
174 separate human beings, real human beings, whose lives were touched in an inappropriate way by the actions of these kids. That's an average of 29 victims per kid. Now, at some point, our consideration properly should be the 174 as opposed to the 6, right? Like, all the concern of the current trajectory and momentum of our public safety conversation in the state seems to be upon the 6. What do we do about the perpetrators? What do we do to make their lives better? What do we do to put them on the right track? What about the 174 victims who somehow figured it out? They somehow have managed to go through their lives without hurting other people and stealing from other people. And
see, but this is leftists these days. This is how you destroy not only a society, embracing this is how you destroy an entire planet with philosophies like this. And I put this in here because it wasn't necessarily going with the flow as it was, but I thought this was a good point to put this in. If I could get this guy and put him in a time capsule and just throw him out there and have him talk about this guy extemporaneously nailed this in a way that I haven't seen anybody speaking before. Any particular thoughts on that, sir?
Well, and it's kind of the exact opposite of how everything about that is looked at today. And this is coming from somebody who actually, in the beginnings of criminal justice reform, actually did agree with some of what they were trying to do until leftists hijacked it. I do firmly believe we need to get back to putting people in prison that have caused harm to society, not just people that we're mad at. And that's exactly who he's talking about. I do think, unfortunately, with the way our laws are written today, we do need to have caveats in there about it being violent felonies, because, I mean, if anybody actually understood how the laws were written today, you'd understand that you really can't go 5 feet down the street anymore without at least committing one felony. You just don't know that you have, because that's just how everything is now. There's so many different laws about so many different things that nobody even knows about or can keep up with. I mean, hell, this is one that's still on the books here in Oklahoma. It's technically illegal to take a bite of somebody else's hamburger, even if you're married to them. That's it. That's on the books here. They don't enforce it anymore, but it's on the books here. It's illegal to throw a snowball within the city limits of the city of Oklahoma City. It can actually be an assault charge. It's a misdemeanor assault charge, but it's still an assault charge. Those are the things that I'm talking about. But having a caveat where by the time you've done this to somebody and it is a violent felony 3 times, we're just going to put you somewhere where you can't be a harm to yourself or anybody else.
We have to remove you from civilized society. Because you do not belong in a civilized society. And you've gone out of your way to prove it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and look, I get it. It's really easy to break a law. It's not very easy to commit 3 violent felonies. That takes some work. That takes some planning. That means that you are legitimately opting out of being part of polite society, in my opinion. So those are the people that we need to start focusing on. This is why I'm so mad with what's going on in Oregon and watching the Oregon police officers just sit on their hands. As somebody that used to do that kind of work, I want to throat punch every single one of them.
Oh, God.
Because, I mean, we all know the oath that they took. Do they not make them take that oath anymore? Is that what it is? Do they not have to swear the things that you and I swore? Because I remember what I had to swear. And I can't watch them and see them just, sitting on the sidelines while people are being, spit on and flags being burned. You know what? I could really care less about that. But because it would be something that I know would irritate other people, I guarantee you Portland has an ordinance about burning things on city streets. Why are they not enforcing that? Just to give themselves an in, because it's there.
Well, yeah, hashtag because. Oh, you opened that door. I wasn't planning to go here, but I'm going to go here anyway. Do you remember, folks, an individual by the name of, and I'm going to get I'm going to get the first name right, but the second name I'm not so sure. Do you remember a dude named Milo Yiannopoulos?
Milo Yiannopoulos, I think is how it's pronounced. I know you're talking about.
So he was, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, could be terribly wrong, a tall, I think, British gay guy who became a conservative and then would go to various college campi around, at least California, always spell it with a K, and he ended up on Berkeley. And then Berkeley PD, he was on UC Berkeley at that famous, what was it, Sproul Hall, where in the 60s, I went one time just to look around, and they were the big First Amendment free speech people in the 60s, in the summer of love, 1969, ACLU. And so they decided that they were going to riot because Milo was there. The University of California at Berkeley cops pulled back. Berkeley PD pulled back. A guy watched a journalist of some sort. I think he was a leftist journalist. Walked up to a Berkeley PD guy with his window down and said, "Do you not see?" And this was literally a block away from that car sitting, cops watching. Do you not see the people being beaten one block away over there? And you can see in the video, yeah, there's a whole bunch of shit going on down there. And the cop in the car said, and now I happen to know that the cop in the car made at that time probably $118,000 a year just as a base salary. And there was a sergeant. This was despicable. There was a sergeant I did not anticipate going this direction. There was a sergeant standing adjacent to the car, and all it would have taken to stop the pain and the injuries and the riot that was going down that block was for what I called in the post that I made at the time, one good sergeant. I was a good sergeant. If I was there, I would have said something similar to you, and you. Hats and bats. Put them on right now. Get together. Follow me. V-form, go. And we're going to go and split up that riot. All it would have taken was one good sergeant. But these lazy fucks who listened to their people, and it was later revealed that the Berkeley mayor called the UCDPD chief and also called the chief in Berkeley and said, keep your people back. And they obeyed. Why would they do that? Because it's the difference between a chief system and a sheriff system. A chief is appointed and answers and fillets only the city mayor. And the sheriff is elected. A sheriff would have gone hats and bats way before that. That advances us up to Portland and Seattle, to which I say to those leftist pieces of, I'm going to have to hedge my words, filth, stay in Seattle, stay in Portland, Stay in your leftist urban rat cage. We don't want you anywhere infecting other cities. Stay there. And again, I can tell you that the people in Portland, the cops in Portland, are making bank. They too are making $105,000 to $120,000 a year plus bennies. And so why should they do anything when they're still going to get paid? And now history is proven by way of their department, if you stay out of self-initiated activity, there's career survival and there's officer survival. They already have to worry about officer survival. And in those cities, you are one bad call away from ending your career. And so the conclusion has been, why should I do anything? A, my department doesn't want me to. B, the community doesn't want me to. So why am I fighting against them? And I'm making bank. I'm still getting a nice check. And the dealio is, I bet they don't live in Seattle, and I bet they don't live in Portland.
Oh, I bet not either. But that's what annoys me, though, because the thing about it is, and I know what you're saying, and I know what their bosses are saying, and I know how they feel, because the loudest people that are in their communities are the ones that are getting their attention. And those are the ones that are saying, we don't want you here, we don't need you here. But there are plenty of people that I'm seeing on video that have been begging for help, that are like, we can't go anywhere, we can't do anything. This has been going on for 100 nights in a row, and almost nobody's talking about it.
Yep,
and
I've seen. You must be talking about the interview of the dude that was in Portland, a guy that looked like he was slightly older, and he was saying this shit never stops.
Yeah, he's like, it's been going on for 100 days, and it's not just him. He was one of the first ones I saw, but there are others. And I'm just sitting here, and look, I will admit, I wasn't in that type of a uniform for very long before life caused me to have to do something else, and that's when I started my own company. But I still spent a good part of my 20s and 30s, and even part of my 40s, helping people. I was running a security firm, a private investigations firm, doing almost all the same things that I did before, just from a different perspective. And still, everything I did was for that very same reason. It astounds me, because I know why the people in my family that have joined the military, the people in my family that have gone into law enforcement, the people in my family that have gone into teaching, I know all the reasons why they've done those things. And to just see people that I would have assumed went into these same life paths for the very same reasons, just either me be completely wrong, or them just, in my opinion, completely falling to the dark side. I mean, I get it, especially if you're the chief. Well, I would say I get it, but I don't. Hell, even when I was running my own company, I went toe to toe with some of my clients sometime, because they wanted me turning my back on things that were happening on their properties. And I'm like, if that's who you want to run this stuff, then you need to find somebody else to do it, because I have a good relationship with the law enforcement around here, and I am not going to make that go away just because it makes your life easier. I mean, I actually lost clients because of the fact that I would, wade into the middle of scenarios that they said they didn't want us being involved in, because it was the right thing to do. And it saved people from getting hurt. I don't get it. We've talked about it before on this very show. There are three types of people in the world, in my opinion. There are sheep, there are sheepdogs, and there are wolves. I don't know who these fuckers in Portland are, but they ain't sheepdogs.
Sheepdogs.
It wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter what their bosses said. It wouldn't matter what their bosses said. Somebody would be trying to make it better. And I don't get it.
No, yes, sheepdogs, there's no such thing as a former Marine. Ask a Marine. There's no such thing as a former cop, and cops and military are sheepdogs, and sheepdogs by their nature do not go away. And it's particularly frustrating and enervating. I lose words when you see things that are wrong being done in front of you, and it grates to your very core. To your core. You know what needs to be done, and then the people don't do it. I could take this. I could tell you what I saw in training over the years. In a roundabout way, I can tell you how we got here. The biggest question is, I'm not sure I know how we get ourselves out. That's just with law enforcement. I don't know how we get out of
Well, I mean,
this societal illness that we're in.
I mean, part of it is, and this is the reason why I don't know if there is a way for us to come back, because everybody talks about what happened in Uvalde. You know why what happened in Uvalde happened in Uvalde? Because just about a year or so before then, the Supreme Court said that cops have no duty to act. That's why what happened in Uvalde happened in Uvalde. Because it took everything that we believed, even those of us that used to wear the badge, and turned it all on its head. They at that point, the Supreme Court basically made the police officers glorified security officers, because that was my only duty. And I got in trouble for this all the time because I wasn't law enforcement anymore. They're like, your only duty is to observe and report. Look, dude, if I'm seeing somebody getting the shit kicked out of them in a parking lot, and you want me to write a report about it, that ain't going to happen. I'm going to go do something about it. And if you don't like it, then you can put another company out here. But that's exactly it. They've basically made cops security guards, because security officers have no legal obligation other than to observe and report for insurance purposes. That's it. Nothing else. That's basically what the Supreme Court said cops are now. They have no legal duty to act at all. And that was the beginning of the end, in my opinion.
Concomitant with that was the loss of qualified immunity in California, if I'm not mistaken. Anybody from California always spell it with a K can weigh in at this point right now. In U.S. law, qualified immunity is the legal principle of granting government officials, to include cops, immunity from damages for lawsuits, unless whoever did the violating had any reasonable person should have known that was going to occur. And so qualified immunity cops used to enjoy on a blanket scale across the United States. That's been removed from the state of California. It's being removed from various states. And the other thing that we're seeing in directly in front of our eyes, and maybe you can weigh on this in terms of Oklahoma. Have you noticed, Rick Robinson, that over the years, especially since 2015 and the riots that were concomitant with that was the push also during Obama, in which military vehicles were removed, military equipment was removed. You could not get these things from the federal government as surplus anymore. They were to be relieved. You were not to be able to utilize these. And also, essentially, anything and everything that had to do with riot control became proscribed in terms of, well, the feds can use it, but a lot of state and local agencies can't use pepper ball, can't use beanbag shotgun, can't use gas munitions, to the point where the only way to stop or quell a riot is simply by numerical superiority. And the numerical superiority edge does not exist in any law enforcement venue, guaranteeing that anyone who starts a riot and keeps it up will always win.
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't been quite as bad here. As far as I know, they still have less than lethal options here. But I will say that, I mean, there's even been a few riots that have popped off here that started peacefully. I mean, especially there were pop-offs during the whole George Floyd stuff even here. So I mean, it does even happen here. I don't know how we fix it. I wish I did. My heart breaks for the people in Oregon right now. But at the same time, I mean, as much as I hate seeing what they're going through, I have to remind myself that a good bit of these people that are now complaining about everything that's happening have been voting for these very things. I just think about this from another perspective. Under Obama's tenure, they were pushing so hard for basically us to give up our gun rights. Imagine if we had done that when just a couple short years later, they started pushing the let's get rid of the cops thing next. Well, what kind of country would we be in today if we had no cops and no guns?
Well, that you bring up the issue, and Let's see. I've got about 6 more minutes on the show. We might go into a minute or two of overtime, if that. But that also brings up the issue of Canada. And that brings up the issue of the UK. And it brings up the issue of this guy. And it brings up the issue of the guy that's running against Adams right now. Excuse me. Adams pulled out. Curtis Sliwa, I think, is still in the mayor's race of New York.
Yeah, he hasn't dropped out yet.
He hasn't dropped out yet.
Because he has no intent to.
I just don't know about Cuomo. I don't think. Well, let me put it this way, and correct me if I'm wrong. I don't see a lot of people really funding Cuomo at all. I see the money going to Mamdani and the outward support going to Mamdani. And I think that New York is going to become the experiment that I said we absolutely must have sooner or later, except I was hoping that it was going to be Seattle or it was going to be Portland, where if they fucked up something terribly, it wouldn't include our major fiscal centers of the United States of America. But now I don't think we have that option anymore. I don't think that option is on the table.
They'll move him out of there. But no, so the issue with Cuomo is Cuomo, like it or not, has lost favor with the party. He's pissed off a lot of the higher ups. So yeah, they're not supporting him this time. And Sliwa refuses to give up, and I don't really blame him. I mean, I have to admit, I would be a little pissed if I was that guy and you have the leader of your party saying that you need to drop out so they can vote for Cuomo. I mean, there's basically maybe 6 inches of breadth between Cuomo and Mamdani, the commie. I mean, let's be real. There's almost no difference between the two. There's barely any daylight. So whoever they wind up with is basically going to be the next commie running New York City at this point. Because Sliwa, as much as, I mean, unless there's just some sort of a groundswell, I don't see it happening. But again, you know, at some point you have to start letting people have what they voted for, which is, again, another reason why, as mad as I am at the cops in Oregon, I'm like, dude, this is what a lot of these people have been voting for. So at some point, we just we got to turn it loose and just, you know, you guys are going to, I mean, and this is coming from a parent who has had to use the exact version of tough love that I'm talking about. My oldest son was hooked on drugs for a long time. And the irony is, with what I used to do for a living, I didn't even notice for the longest time because I worked so damn much that when I saw him, I didn't really ever see him messed up. But I mean, dude, he was hooked on some hard stuff for a long time, to the point where he got in all kinds of trouble and there was nothing I could do about it anymore. And I finally just had to put my foot down with him and his mom. And I'm like, look, dude, you are an adult now. You have made your bed. You're going to have to figure it out. I will help you get into rehab. And after that, you've got to figure it out. And he did. But it was because I stopped letting his mom enable him. I stopped, you know, I actually started paying attention to what was going on and quit trying to tell myself there wasn't anything there. But there just comes a time when, you know, you can't be the one coming to the rescue all the time. And I think that's the problem that we're having now, is these people are so used to somebody coming to their rescue that they don't realize it's their own decisions that are making this stuff happen over and over and over again. And that's why while at the same time, I'm like, I understand why Trump did what he did in DC. And I know it makes everybody feel good now that he's sending troops into to cities in Tennessee and everywhere else. And I'm just like, but why? That's what these people are voting for. All you're doing is saving them from themselves, and they're not even going to recognize that you're doing it, nor are they going to care.
Well, further, I'd say also, because we've seen this, history has clearly indicated that to us. Just as we paid the price for too big to fail, we're going to have to, I believe, if this occurs, and I think it's a fait accompli. This shit is going to happen in New York City in November. They're going to get what they want. And then a short time later, when they come to their senses and realize that this muzzy, racist, misogynist, anti-Semite is driving them into the ground, someone is going to say, well, we need help now. We need federal help. Our budget is turned to shit. I worked in New York under Mayor Lindsay. He was a piece of crap. And then Dinkins afterwards was a piece of crap. New York was a shithole. It was like beautiful downtown Mogadishu. That shit is unavoidable and it's going to happen. But as you say, it's got to happen. We got to have this experiment somewhere, sometime. And they have chosen, leftists, Democrats, leftists, and globalists, as much influence as they have decided our line is here and it's in New York City. We're going to have this discussion, but they're going to want to be bailed out.
Nope. Build a wall.
You got it. You got it. Escape from New York City. Here's the other thing that and then I want you to weigh in. It cost me money to get out of California. I was in my late 60s when I left, and I shouldn't have to worry about that shit. But I didn't want to have any more. I didn't want to waste any more of my hard-earned American taxpayer dollars because that money was being used in a boomerang directly against me, not for me. So I decided it was time to leave. That was an extremely costly move for me, in the 6 digits, to sell 2 homes, buy another, all the coordination that you had to do, blah, 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 blah. And I came here, best thing I ever did. The psychic, emotional, and fiscal weight off my shoulders was worth the roughly $200,000 that it took for me to leave there and come here. So it was a huge cut, but I did it because I had to. You know, and people say, but I don't want to leave. I might get hurt. Fuck you. If you don't want to leave, but you don't like what's happening, I can't leave, then shut the fuck up. I'm tired of that crap. You either put up with it, you love it, you voted for it, stop your kvetching, if you would, please. Sean Lewis says, okay, I got to tap out. I'm fanning. Good show, boys, and we're going to be wrapping it up. So, Rick Robinson, he of KLRN fame, as I customarily say at this point, and here's where you go on for at least an hour about all the things that you do because you're clearly an underachiever, don't do crap in life, you sleep about 10 to 12 hours a day, and tell people what you're going to be doing and who you are and what you do and all that good stuff because you're the man who never sleeps.
Well, before we get into all that, I do want to say this. If what we anticipate happens in New York City happens in November, then all I can say is we need to make John Carpenter a prophet. That's all.
Nice.
All I'm going to say about that. But as far as where you can find me usually almost every day on KLRN Radio in one form or another. As a matter of fact, tomorrow night I will be live on Juxtaposition as we start Juxtober, which is our yearly foray into a month-long deep dive into spooky season. This year we're doing cryptids for 5 episodes in a row, starting on Saturday. Sunday night I'll be back doing Kingdom and Country at 9 p.m. Eastern. Monday night, America Off the Rails, 10 p.m. Eastern. Tuesday night, Manorama, Tuesday during the day. That's at 10 p.m. Eastern. Tuesday during the day, and Tuesday through Friday, Rick Robinson Show, 10 a.m. Varying end times. Usually starts at 10 a.m. Fridays we run for an extra hour, so it's 10 to 1. And then Friday nights, Aggie Rican and I do He Said, She Said. Thursday night, I'm usually on with Jen on Jen and Rick. And then I know there's more, but I can't think of half of them right now because it's been a long day. You can also follow along with our schedule at klrnradio.com. You can find me at RowdyVic73 on X, and I also contribute to misfitspolitics.com, twitchy.com, theloftusparty.com, and I produce the Loftus Party podcast, which drops on Tuesdays.
Other than that, you don't do a damn thing.
I know, right? I'm completely just, I don't do nothing.
What a sad, sorry, just unproductive individual. Someday he'll learn to work or sleep.
Sleep would be good, but I figure I'll do plenty of that when I'm dead.
That's what Warren Zevon said. I'll sleep when I'm dead. He had an album. He had one of those named I'll Sleep When I'm Dead. Rick Robinson, thank you so kindly for being here. I'm BZ. You're in the saloon. It's the end. But, oh, wait a minute. Can you guys even see the light in the pumpkin? Okay, that tells me I'm going to have to replace the battery. So next time you see me this coming Tuesday night, I'll actually have a good light in the pumpkin right there. But at least, thank God, you can see him and he's smiling and all that kind of good stuff. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, thanks for listening tonight to BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show, live and direct right here on the SHR Media studios, also on KLRN, where Rowdy Rick is in his studio at this point. You can see me anywhere. Thanks for watching live. Thanks for listening live. Thanks for listening and watching live in the podcast, in just about any podcast place you could find. And I got to tell you, promotional consideration is by the Lockheed Martin Skunk Works, also by Shure and Electro Voice microphones, Arrakis boards, the people that make my mixer, and also by Pratt & Whitney Engine Company, dependable engines producing thrust. You can trust. Tiaras are by My Little Pony. Let's see. There we go. That's what I'm wearing tonight. And folks, thanks to my personal KC-135 Kettle One refueling team, with whom I shall be consorting in less than a half hour or so. Thanks to you and you and you and you and you and you and you, everybody. Have a great weekend. It's only Friday, Saturday, and Sunday right here. God bless. Take care. Be safe.
Everybody quiet down now and get some sleep.
Night, everybody.
Night, Mama. Night, Ben.
Good night, everyone. Good night, Mama. Good night, Daddy.
Good night, children. Good night, Daddy. Good night, Elizabeth.
Good night, John Boy. Good night, Jim Bob. Good night, Jim Bob.
Good night, Jim Bob.
What's going on? I was asleep. What's everybody doing?
Good night,
Jim Bob.
Good night, and good luck.